We had no CRM. We had we were doing.
We had no idea how to do accounting.
The only way to track the deals was on a whiteboard. We were Zelle paying everybody. It was just it was an absolute nightmare.
Sounds like an actual Miami story.
Yeah,
that's a typical Miami business.
From our experience, especially in the younger generation of entrepreneurs, everybody lies.
Do you feel like a lot of people these days are just lazy?
Almost all entrepreneurs that fail, probably, I think, is just because they quit, in my opinion, and give up or only do what's comfortable, go back to their 9 to 5. Motivation will only lead you so far. You can be motivated for a week, you can be motivated for a day, but if you're disciplined, you'll continue to do it every single day.
What if you had only $5,000 and you had to go to a different state or city and start all over, right? And the first thing I said is I would probably wholesale,
Wasting my 20s, right? I couldn't sit in a 9 to 5. I just, no matter how much money I was gonna make, anything, I just couldn't do it.
There's nothing we can't get done.
Yeah. Right.
Because you get to a point where so many people said you can't do it, and you keep doing it. You stack up successes.
Doing a deal almost every single business day is grind.
The bad company takes the tough calls.
Yeah.
He does. He's got a way, when a seller's unhappy, he's got a way of them being very happy by the end of it and apologizing.
Because I agree, Elon Musk obviously a smart guy, but I don't think he knows how the actual rocket really works, right?
We've made 50, 100,000 cold calls. You made 11. Obviously, I'm better at you. I wasn't born good at cold calling. It's just when you do something so consistently, it's just human nature. You're gonna get better at it no matter what it is.
It's literally like the movies. It's so it just wasn't for us. And
was that the craziest story, or you got a crazier one? All right, guys, welcome back to Let's Talk Development, your favorite destination for real estate, business, lifestyle. We are super excited for another episode with you guys today, but before we get started, we got to get some housekeeping items.
Yeah, I got to make Ellen happy. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share the podcast with everyone, and follow us on all the different platforms.
And let's get rolling.
Let's get rolling.
Today's guests, guys, are redefining what it means to build from the ground up, literally and figuratively. Two brothers, Jackson and Carson, who turned $73 and a crazy idea into a multi-million-dollar real estate empire. At just 25 and 22 years old, they've completed over 750 land deals, crossed $5 million in profit, and are now leading luxury residential builds on Florida's west coast, valued up to $16 million. They're the founders of JW Lighthomes, transforming Florida communities through fast, ethical land development, and giving back along the way through their charitable foundation, the Kids Cancer Foundation in Palm Beach. From dropping out of college to building an empire, from flipping lots to constructing luxury homes, they're proving what's possible when drive meets vision. They've also built a community of over 1,000 students, helping others close their first deals and partner on new projects. They're young, they're relentless, they're rewriting the real estate playbook. So please welcome to the show, the Wiener brothers, Jackson and Carson.
Thanks,
you.
Max. Thanks for having us on, guys.
Of course, yeah, we're really excited. This is, we have a lot in common with you guys. And built a good relationship.
And we finally just did our first deal together.
Yeah. Finally. Yeah. Hasn't closed yet.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Let's get started. Alan, you take it from here. What are we doing?
So, this game, we're going to start the podcast, is agree to disagree. So, I'm going to say a statement. You can put agree on the board, write it big enough so people can see it. And then you can chat about it after, or everybody disagrees or agrees. So, the first statement is, partnerships are the hardest part of entrepreneurship. Agree or disagree? And then I'll say when to show it, so. 3, 2, and 1. One disagree. Max disagrees.
So I
We're talking general here, or
this is a blanket statement. You guys can interpret it how you want.
I would agree, but I would disagree for the four of us here. So I would think the biggest advantage, and I think you guys would say the same, is Carson and I have each other. They have each other, right? So it makes everything a whole lot easier than I see all these people all the time. They try to do their business. They try to do everything all by themselves. And I think that's a lot harder. And there's also a lot of people, that money will change them. So when you find someone that's real, that you can trust and you can work with, I think it's the biggest, can be the biggest motivator, can be the biggest influence on someone's success, but can also be the reason people aren't successful, is choosing the wrong partner. So I think I obviously got lucky having a brother, and then you guys are very similar to that relationship as well.
That's why I put disagree.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page there.
Yeah, it's hard to find, but if you have it, it's irreplaceable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's the biggest asset, you know.
Yeah,
You know,
100%.
people talk about technology, network, and all these different things, or capital. I think that is. We just had it on last podcast that we did. That's the number one single biggest asset and reason why, you know, we as well as you guys are where we are today.
100%.
All right, next one here is discipline beats motivation every time. 3, 2, and 1. All agrees. There we go. Our first agrees.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, because motivation will only lead you so far. You can be motivated for a week, you can be motivated for a day, but if you're disciplined, you'll continue to do it every single day, which no matter what you're doing, for us it was flipping land, for you guys it was real estate and development. But if you find something that you're going to stick to every single day, you'll eventually be successful. And it's been the same way with everybody we've taught to get into this. Everybody we've seen be successful, they just continue to do it every single day. If we gave up after a week, we wouldn't have been successful. Nobody will be. It's just continuing to do something through discipline, and you'll figure it out eventually, I think.
And it ties into the partner thing too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a good partner, it's easier to stay disciplined, or if one has a off day, the other one's there to like, put you back in place. So I think that.
And you have a responsibility, you know. I mean, you guys are brothers. We're pretty much like brothers. It's kind of the same thing. I think it's a responsibility that you have towards your best friend and business partner. And then in our setting, you know, now there's a family, there's kids involved. You know, there's really, if anything, the discipline factor becomes bigger, as well as the responsibility, as you know.
I agree. I also think that almost discipline is really the only thing that matters, because no matter who you are, when you're motivated, anybody wants to do it, right? If someone's super motivated, they're going to go to the gym every day, right? So everyone would be a millionaire, everyone would be jacked if it was just motivation, right? But it's like when you don't want to do something and you still do it, that's what separates everybody, right?
Okay. Buying land is riskier than buying houses. Agree or disagree? We got, max outlier here. We got 1 agree.
I'm curious for Max's opinion first.
Well, I mean,
It always fucks it up for us.
well, I'm thinking out of a you know, lender's perspective, right?
Yeah.
If we're talking about collateral and, you know, debt you get on these deals, you know, you're gonna get, whenever we find a piece of land in Paradise Valley where there's a house, and everybody gets a lot more excited because it's easier to secure financing. So it depends on which
I think
perspective
it kind of depends what you do, how you ask that question. Because I will say, and I know countless people that have done this, is like, I want to invest in land, I want to do this, I think I'm going to subdivide this one day, and they just way overpay for a worthless plot of land, or they don't get a perk test done and they buy an unbuildable lot. So in that case, I think so. I think from like an investment standpoint, and it's just kind of what we know, we've always invested in land, and we've just been very specific with it. And so if we're in Florida right now, like the cheapest buildable lot that you're going to get is going to be like 5 to 10 grand, call it, right? So if Carson and I can get one for like 2,000 to 3,000, and it's 45 minutes away from the ocean, and it's on a paved road, and there's utilities coming in, and there's already new builds on the street, there's no way ever, no matter what, unless someone takes over the country, that lot will be worth 5 grand. A buildable lot in Florida. So we're getting it at 2 because it's what we do. Property taxes are $13 a month. I just think it's very, very safe to where it could never really go down.
It's also what you know, right? Like
Exactly.
there's no land,
Exactly.
And I was just thinking in terms of like kind of the development side of things, is like, you know, no matter what, whereas I don't know with a lot of these real estate markets with housing markets, because you guys know a lot more than that. We've just never really done much with it. But I know if we find a good land deal, I know no matter what, we're either going to be safe reselling the land, or if we wanted to build it out with a GC and with a builder, I know no matter what, we'd be safe just because it's what we know. But I don't know too much about like housing, typical real estate markets with ups and downs and trends with that nature. So that's where I was coming from with.
I think it also just comes down to the deal on everything, right? If you get a good house deal, it's a good buy. If you get a good land deal, it's a good buy. If you overpay for a house, you're going to lose money on it. If you overpay for a lot, you're usually going to lose money on it.
100%.
All right, next one here is you should outgrow your friend group every 3 to 5 years. 3, 2-1. Disagree. Okay.
Who are you drawing over there?
I was gonna put both, but I just wrote a D because I think you do need to outgrow your friend group at one point in time. But then once you've changed your mindset and find people that are like-minded with you, you don't need to keep doing it every 3 to 5 years. You've already changed who you are and build with those people. I think you just need to do it once in your life. For us, it was leaving our college friends and everybody that we've grown up with. So I don't know if it was similar for you guys, but it was like doing it once was enough for us.
Yeah. Well, we did it once, and then here it took a little bit of time to find like a small like-minded group that became friends and business partners, which I think that's challenging wherever you are. You know, find people that are at the same level of yours or above you, plus, you know, to then double down and do business together. I think that's another second asset, right? I mean, your close circle obviously has the biggest influence.
I think you also learn what to look out for. Like when we left college, moved straight to downtown Miami, we were naive 19, 21-year-old kids, didn't know what to look out for. We thought everybody was absolutely crushing it. We thought everything that people said was true, and that was not the case.
Yeah.
Like everybody was not a good person. Everybody was just trying to use you for something. Like we were just naive kids that didn't realize that. But now I think we have a good understanding of what to look out for. So even when we make new friends, like meeting you guys, we know you guys are good people just because of who you are. And we can see that now, where it took years of learning and having bad experiences to learn that, where I think we've probably all learned what to look out for and to have some.
And I think after kind of you have to almost like reinvent yourself when you are getting into this game, right? So like for us, that meant literally just leaving Florida, starting a new life, building our business here, because everyone's always going to see, if you go hang out with your high school friends, no matter how much money you make, anything, they're still going to think of you back in high school before you were successful, before you were disciplined, before any of that, right? It's just how people are born, right? But it's like, as you grow, like we're not going to outgrow each other in 3 to 5 years because we're both ambitious. We're both supposed to, even if we don't work together, we're still going to be growing every year, right? And that's the point, is once you reset that framework and have all your new friend group, then it's like you guys, whether you're working together or not, you're going to be friends with ambitious people that should be growing in tangent with you.
Agreed.
There we go. A couple more here, and then we're finished up here. The luxury market will always be recession-proof. The luxury market will always be recession-proof. Agree, disagree? Looks like everybody's ready. 3, 2, and 1. Agree.
I agree, but not fully.
Yeah.
If there's another COVID or if there's another 08, then obviously not. But in really good markets like Paradise Valley, Scottsdale, Jupiter, Marco Island, I think any very luxury spot where there's something that's going to bring value, whether it's being on hillside, whether it's being on an open waterfront lot, and it's in one of those areas that all these people want to move to from New York, from California, all these areas that only have so much waterfront land or so many hillside lots, I think those will always continue to go up unless there's another COVID or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's, to be honest, obviously we see a lot on clients and listings and stuff. I think what happens, what people underestimate, if there's like big changes in the market or something, luxury pauses, right? It's not necessarily that it tanks or anything, but we had these phases where, you know, after like the stock market crash due to COVID, whatever, like nobody did anything for a while, like nothing, right? It was dead. Like we're in other price points, houses are still selling and buying, and you know, you have to move, whatever. The person that buys this $7 million house, they don't have to move. They probably already have a house or two. So I feel like it's good, as in like it holds its value pretty good.
Yeah.
But if you want to sell it
And it
at
still
the
takes
wrong
inventory
time,
can sit.
then you might be the one that actually gets a big hit because nobody really wants to. So I think it's I would say it's bulletproof, but I would say it's, if you can hold on to it, you're better shape than in a small house.
I think like you're saying, it could move faster or slower, which could lead you to selling it cheaper than it is. But I think in the long run, no matter what, I think the values will always continue to go up for the luxury stuff.
I also think the hyper luxury market is almost recession proof, right? Like you look at a Gordon Drive on Naples where there's 20 houses on the beach, or a Manalapan in Palm Beach where there's only 28 that have inlet access and a beach access, and they're going to be a cash buyer on an $80 million house. I think that's almost like heavy recessions, COVID or something like that, it's going to hit. But when the rest of the market starts to go down a little bit, I think that's almost, it's going to be very stable, because at the end of it, there's more billionaires than there are luxury lots in Gordon Drive, right? And they all want to move to the same place. So I think it holds value, like you were saying, but it's not going to cut in half like everything else does. But if you sit through it, I think it ends up back up.
Here we go. Most entrepreneurs fail because they chase validation, not velocity. Agree or disagree? And 3, 2, and 1. Oh, agrees in the middle, disagrees on the end.
I think almost all entrepreneurs that fail probably, I think, is just because they quit, in my opinion, and give up or only do what's comfortable, go back to their 9 to 5, go back to college, go back to listening what their parents say, go back to listening what their old friends say. I think that's a main thing that makes people quit being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, not to change my answer, but I put agree. So I don't think it's the reason people fail, because I think it's actually the reason a lot of people are successful, but I think it's the wrong reason to do it, in my opinion. I think most entrepreneurs, they get into it for material things and validation, and they want a supercar, and they want a big house, and they want to do this, and meanwhile they do it, and they're like, okay, wow, this doesn't really matter that much. But I don't think it's necessarily the reason people fail, but I think a lot of people do it and then realize it's not kind of what I should have been doing it for.
Or they go ahead and do that and they are successful and they get the validation and then they're not a good person because of it. That's the only thing they care about or strive for, is just having things and trying to flex on people instead of actually making real connections and understanding that it's a tool to help you get to where you want and do better things in the world instead of just making it your only trait, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Last one here. Confidence comes from preparation, not hype. Confidence comes from preparation, not hype. 3, 2, 1. Agreed. All agrees. There we go. Good way to end it.
Easy.
Yeah, that one's pretty.
Self-explanatory.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Cool little game.
We'll start out.
You guys always do that?
I don't know. Always has like different things, but yeah, we've done that one before, and yeah, so gets us kind of going, get some topics, you know. But now we're going to dive into what you guys do specifically, right? Max already gave the intro, but take us back to like day one when you guys said, all right, that's the business we want to get into. How we get started, and how did you guys take us to day one?
So basically, when I was all throughout university, every summer I would just kind of intern for a developer, right? So it's very, very similar to what you guys are doing with the very luxury build and stuff like that. And I was by no means doing any real work. I was more just like, bring the coffee, I'll go drive down to Miami and pick your pool alarms up, whatever. And I just shadowed him basically. And just seeing it, I was like, wow, these numbers really make sense. Like, you're buying this for 3 million, you're building for 3 million, you just sold it for 14. Like, what are you doing here, right? So I just asked questions, learned about it. I knew I always wanted to probably get into that game eventually, but then I just went back to school, didn't really do anything for about a year or two. And then going into my senior year, I was like, I gotta figure something out. Like, I could not, my biggest fear, like one of my biggest fears, something happened to Carson. But other than that, it was always wasting my 20s, right? I couldn't sit in a 9 to 5. I just, no matter how much money I was going to make, anything, I just couldn't do it. I wanted to travel. I wanted to do everything while I was young. So I started trying to just flip houses, wholesale houses, right? And I'm just sending out these text campaigns. And one day I had a builder text me back, and just a home builder. He's like, I'll pay you 40 grand for any lot in the zip code. I was like, what do you mean lot, right? So I called him, I talked to him, he explained it to me. This was really early. No one was doing this at the time. So I just sent a text campaign at the time, like, and I just found every single homeowner or lot owner in that zip code. There was like 5,000 people, and I said, hey, I'll give you 30 to 35 grand for address. And I had like 6 people say yes. I like never made more than $400 a week in my life. I made like 40 grand in 10 minutes, right? Like, just getting these people to sign the contract, flipping it. And it went to escrow, right, for like 3 weeks. So I still don't really know if it worked. But at that point I was like, Carson, we should probably.
This was April-ish of 2022?
April of 22. So it was like July 1st. Like, it took me like 60 days to figure it out, then put him into escrow, and I was like, all right, Carson, he was 19. I was like, we should probably try to do this, because I think like this could be something big. So at that point, we just started to rinse and repeat that, and we were just, we'd send the text campaigns, we'd call home builders, and we basically just locked them in.
We wouldn't leave the office or our table until we got one deal done each every single day, and it could be a $100 deal or it could be a 10 grand deal. And we sat there every single day, sent out a few contracts each every single day, and didn't leave until we.
We were doing a lot of small deals in the beginning. It wasn't
we were doing like from the jump though. We were doing like 25, 30 deals a month, and they were anywhere from like $100 to like 10 grand, and just pumping them out.
The first 6 months we did it, so we basically had to figure out. We got shiny object syndrome, because what happened was, it's like, no one was doing this business before, right? I go on YouTube, no one else was doing it. People were wholesaling houses, but no one was infill lots to builders. Like it just wasn't a thing. So I'm like, okay, this is a little side hustle. We got to figure something out. We got 3 Airbnbs, Airbnb arbitrage in Scottsdale.
Yeah.
We started a marketing agency. We're just doing all this stuff and getting shiny object syndrome. And it's like we lost all the money we had made trying to do this because we didn't think it was a real business. So we kind of made the decision in December that Carson and I were going to drop out of school, right? So then we went to Miami. We just kind of scaled everything from there. We went all in January when we both left school. We went to do March of that year. We did $300,000 in profit for the single month. And then from then, it's just kind of been everything on that business model. We've done 700 deals. We got lucky by finding a good deal in Marco Island. We finally took the initiative to actually go and develop that one. And then through connections and after calling a bunch of agents and stuff and asking about the market, we got our second development deal out in Marco Island. And then
we have another one right now. We actually have some money in escrow
Yeah.
for. We're gonna pick up our third one in Marco.
And then
And those are new builds, right?
yeah,
Yep.
new builds. And then we about a year ago, Carson, we had some friends out here that were doing really well with it, and they were just like, you guys don't understand the power rate for hiring and for networking and everything like that. So Carson started to post on social media. So then we built a community to where we have about 1,400, 1,450 members, but they submit their deals to us. So we see different development deals. We partner with them on the deals, so stuff like that. So that's kind of basically our whole story and what we've done thus far.
I mean, crazy. Especially like the time knowing we know how it feels to have no experience
Yeah.
and to kind of we didn't drop out. We were too old already. We'd already finished
Yeah.
the whole college deal. But okay, Miami. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of insight on how that transition was, and then
Yeah.
remind me how old you both
So
were.
I was 19. He was 21. We
Okay.
left school in December. Went on vacation to Dubai for a couple of weeks and then moved to Miami. And we moved to Miami because we had a friend there that we went down and saw him for one day. We've never really seen anything like that in Miami. Like, oh, this rooftop's so cool. These restaurants are so cool. Look at all these big high rises. Everybody here is grinding entrepreneurs. This should be a great place to be. It'll make us want to do more and whatnot. And then we moved there, and it was fun for a month or two. We did get a lot of work
Yeah.
done. It was actually a funny story. So it kind of goes in tandem with trying out new business models, not really knowing what we were doing. We started making a lot of money for the first time, literally 30, 45 days out of college. And we'd been running the business for about 6 months, but we didn't, again, we've been running a business for 6 months, which was on our laptops. So we didn't know much about anything business-wise. So
Yeah.
we hired 13 people out of our apartment in the SLS Lux, moved the couch out of the living room, had desks throughout the entire place, hired people straight out of our building because they learned about what we were doing. They saw us just at the pool all day answering phone calls, and they're like, I know you guys are making money. Like, you guys sit at the pool all day. Like, what the hell do you do? So we explained it to them, and they're like, can I work for you? Sure, come to our room tomorrow at 10 a.m. Hired everybody out of our office. We're running that up for a while, which was just a big mess. It was making money.
Like we did like 30, 40 deals in a week, but
it was just a lot.
we had no CRM. We had we were doing.
We
pen
had
and
no
paper
idea how to do
deals.
accounting.
The only way to track the deals was on a whiteboard. We were Zelle paying everybody. It was just like it was an absolute nightmare.
Sounds
so
like an actual like Miami story.
Yeah,
it
That's
was.
a
yeah,
typical
it-
like Miami
so-
business. Hire the whole building.
at that point, we're like, and also in Miami, like it was a massive change of pace for us. So we were in university before Tallahassee, and it's very cheap to live there, right? So our cost of living was like $2,000 a month. We go to Miami, we have all these Airbnbs, we have all this stuff going on, we're sending all this marketing. It's like our cost to live went from like $2,000 a month to $80,000 a month. So we're like, even though we're doing really, really well for our age, we're like hustling deal by deal to live, right? So it was just like a kind of learn how to figure that all out and balance stuff as we're trying to hire people. And we met a couple good people in Miami, I would say, and some people that we definitely are still in touch with and will. But I think it's just
It's easy to get
yeah,
distracted there, I
very
think.
easy, very easy to get distracted. A lot of, for lack of a better word, just there are a lot of bad people in Miami. There are a lot of scammers in Miami. There
Like
are
we
a lot
went
of
to a
things-
couple of meetings of like legit scams that were going on. There
Yeah.
was this big Forex scam that we got brought out to a meeting and invited to. All successful young. This is kind of crazy. Like there was like 15
This is like
under,
the second.
under
This,
30 years
this
old.
was like the
15
second week we were there.
15 entrepreneurs that were like all doing well, probably everybody making over 40, 50K a month. And we're all in this, we go to this office building. It's like 4 stories high. We're at the top of this office building
There's
overlooking
models
the whole,
walking around with sushi.
the whole Brickell Bay. There's models walking around with sushi,
Terrible.
champagne. And then this guy gets up there and makes a killer presentation. This guy, he's in a $500,000 per tech. Gets up there, makes a killer presentation. Then he goes, okay, minimum investment into this Forex fund. He tells us how he's making 2 to 3% a day on his money. Shows us
accounts.
there's
shows us
somebody in the
accounts with
room
70 million.
planted that gets up and like, I was making like 100K a month, but this changed the game. I'm making $1 million a month. Here's my account, blah, 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 this Forex thing. And then he gets up, the minimum investment's 100 grand. We get up to send the investment. He's like, no, you got to come back tomorrow. You can't do it today.
You need Bitcoin.
We literally had like $107,000 in our account at the
Yeah.
time. And we were going to send this guy 100 grand to get into this Forex thing because we were going to make 2-3% a day. Why wouldn't you do that, right? And a couple people we knew got into it. And then, so what happened is he just drained the accounts as soon as you put the money in.
Moved.
And we never ended up getting in. The guy moved, like, nobody heard from him again. You can't pull your money out. And then he would text you back and be like, yeah, I'm going to get your money out soon. Then he would make the account go up a little bit. So it looks like you just made 1,000% on your $1,000 that's left out of 100. And then he would just take the money out and never give it back. And just stuff like that. And it's like literally like the movies. It's like, so it just wasn't for us. And we
Was that the craziest story, or you got a crazier one?
On camera.
Out-
Publicly.
Craziest official
Publicly.
story.
Publicly, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, that definitely sounds very. We always say like, what is it? Sunny.
It's
place
a, it's
for
a
shady
sunny place for shady people down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then you kind of came to a point where like, all right, this is a little bit of a cluster the
Yep.
way this is running, making a lot of money, but also bleeding a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we were done with Miami in about 4.5 months. Bought out of our lease, ended up moving to. We came out here for a little while actually for the first time. Really loved it, and then I'm sure as you guys know, there's like a big Airbnb market out here, so it's hard to get a long-term rental on a nice house. Most of the agents don't want to do it, so we struggled with that for like a week or two. Ended up just picking up everything, moving to Austin, Texas, because like it's a big city.
No
we found a
reason.
really cool house there. We're like, I'm sure we'll have a good time. Never been there in our life.
We went on Zillow. So we were so frustrated because we looked at like 2 or 3 houses here. We tried to sign a lease, and the management company was like, "Oh, you got to leave for 11 weekends out of the year and take all your stuff out for a rental that we already have booked." Right.
Yeah.
So we sat down on Zillow and we're like, "We're just gonna go find the nicest house possible within our budget, and we're gonna move there."
But why Austin?
Nice. It was the nicest house we could have found. It was a ridiculous house.
There's no
We
specific
figured
reason.
it-
It
we
wasn't
have-
Florida.
We have each other. We've never been anywhere and not had a good time because we're not like we have each other. We'll be fine. So we just dropped everything, moved there for about 10 months, and then don't recommend Austin for anybody that's thinking about it. Don't. Not,
Cool wineries.
Yeah, cool wineries. But then we were like, okay, we've had the most fun in Scottsdale, so we came back here, and then we've been between here and Florida for the past about 2 years now.
And then how did you like when you guys said, okay, we gotta like clean this place up? Like, what were your first like? One day you're like, all right, this is not gonna work, and then like, what did you do to like get this to like quote unquote like a legit business? What with like systems in place?
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
like-
So that's what we did in Texas, basically, right? So we left that part of the story out, and we were in Miami, making a lot of money. We were doing well, like May, June, when we had all the employees. We were doing very well. Also hit some big deals, and we actually did a house deal that was pretty big. And at that point, we were like, we need to just kind of clean house and figure this out. So when we went to Austin, it was almost like when we started our business again. We were 5 a.m. to midnight once again, but this time we were building systems. We were building processes. I was building trainings. We were
Built
doing
the
SOPs, CRM, everything like that. So then when it came to scale, we started in October. We hired our executive assistant, and
We properly hired. We hired one person every 6 to 8 weeks. It
and now
wasn't
everything was just
13 in one
it
day.
was very systemized, right? So every time a contract got signed, it'd automatically go from the email to the CRM and move to inventory, and then inventory would give me a notification every time it's been in there for 6 days, so the seller needs to be updated. Then all escrows in one place, because what happened in April was, even though we had a lot of people working for us and stuff, is we were doing 35, 40 deals a month, right? So you have 40 closings for the month, you have 40 in escrow for the next month, you have 40 in inventory, and you have 40 new contracts being signed. Right, so you have 160 sellers to deal with, and that's only if there's one on title. Then you have 80, 90 buyers. You got 40 title companies in 10 different states, and it's like we're doing this on pen and paper, and it was just a cluster, right? So we had to basically just put everything in one place, organize, and then from there we started out with we hired our executive assistant, and what her role was basically full TC, right? So like as I just mentioned, all those sellers, buyers, title companies, her only job was to send the contracts and just keep all of them happy, right? So make sure that once a contract signed, the seller is up to date every single day that they're questioning anything like that. The buyers are happy, everything closes on time. If there's a probate, it's handled correctly. So that finally freed him and I up to be like, okay, cool, we can close more deals, we can hire, we can train, we don't have to be talking to title companies every business hour of the day. So then we went from there. We hired 2 just acquisition guys, so their only role was to get sellers under contract, and then executive assistant would take care of all the contract stuff like that. And then we brought on a marketing coordinator and a dispositions guy. So it was a very big operation numbers wise for how many people there were. It was only 4 people total.
And then last year was kind of like our breakout year with it, and we didn't have to work too much other than like some trainings with the employees, and we did just over 2 million in assignment fees, 1.7 million in profit after paying out all employees, all team, all everything.
We did 239 deals.
239 deals, yep.
So,
which I think is more impressive than the even money thing. 'Cause
yeah,
you could hit $1 million deal, right? But like doing a deal almost every single business day is a grind.
It's almost more
which I'm more
predictable too, right?
accomplished with.
You can actually do income projections and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
Right? Like that's something we always say on the big deals. Like you get these big hits, but only every like 18, 24
Yeah.
months. You know, and for us, it's
You can almost predict kind of the income coming in, which
Yeah.
is not typical in real estate.
correct. And I think that's one thing that with luxury, very hard because
Right.
sometimes you have nothing for 3 months and then you have 2 closings and you're like, all right, we're good. Like
Yeah.
it's a very different dynamic and I guess it goes back to we had that conversation actually last week on the podcast. It was a coincidence, but the question came up. It's like, what if you had only $5,000 and you had to go to a different state or city and start all over, right? And the first thing I said is I would probably wholesale,
Yeah.
land.
Yeah.
Or,
It's
Yeah.
funny because a lot of people, whatever they're doing, whether like I know there's a guy online that got into Section 8s. We have a couple buddies that got into ecom, did this, did that. A lot of people started out with wholesaling real estate, typical wholesaling house.
Yeah.
A lot of people we know that
And-
got into other things, but that's just how they started.
Well, I think what's interesting, and I'm curious to see what you guys think, because a lot of them that goes back to shiny object, right? We have the last 8 years, we had so many agents or people that came, they were part of our story, our business for a while, and they were doing really good, and you felt like there's momentum, and then they went to like an e-commerce thing or to a different startup or in a different industry, right? And then we just kept chipping away, right? And I think it's great, and I don't know why people, or maybe you have an answer to it because you have a lot of students. Like, why do people, if they see how easy it is,
Yeah.
right, with minimal capital, and technically not even crazy amount of knowledge, right? You can make really good money, and they make good money, and then they take it and dump it into an e-commerce business where nothing.
I think what it is almost back to our Miami conversation is maybe, I don't know if you guys have experienced this or not, probably not because you guys are dealing with people that are actually buying luxury houses, but from our experience, like especially in like the younger generation of entrepreneurs, everybody lies, right? So I'll meet an e-commerce guy and he'll be like, look, I made 200 grand last week. Meanwhile, they're on 6% margins, right? So if I was doing really well and I'm just thinking in my head, wait, I should be doing e-commerce. I think I'm as smart as him. Why is he making 800 grand a month and I'm not? And I'll switch to e-commerce. Meanwhile, he's making 40 grand a month and I'm doing 200. But I try to switch over because I get that fallacy, right? So if someone has a good thing going, I think they should just do it no matter what, because it's way easier to scale that than try to still keep that in the mix and start something else. And I think everyone just gets like the shiny object syndrome. And I think a lot of just social media and stuff has given everyone the fake proportion of things. And I think,
Which we saw that firsthand in Miami. Like he's saying, like people would ask us like because they see us at the pool working whatever. Whenever that's why we didn't like Miami. They literally only cared about jewelry, how much money you made, whatever. So we were again young dumb kids. So like, how much money you make? We tell them we made 45 grand net last month, and they tell me they made 350,000 in e-commerce or crypto or whatever they do. Then the next day they're at our office asking to work for us for 4K a month.
yeah.
I'm like, I mean, fine, let's go make some dials, but you don't make 350K a month when you're coming here looking at me like I'm God when I tell you I made 40. So I think, like he's saying, a lot of people just lie.
You think
about,
that's a generational thing?
Yeah, well, I think it's just, yes.
It comes back to the validation thing that I think we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier. Is people just say it to get validation.
I think it's a combination of age and location
And social media.
They almost find each other like Scottsdale, we have the Optima, right? Like Optima is one of those buildings
Yep.
where like every other person in there is a young entrepreneur in some shape or form, and that's what So I think to your point, if somebody makes 350 a month, they probably live in a nice house somewhere in Scottsdale,
exactly.
not in a 2-bedroom
Yeah.
condo, right?
I think the biggest thing with that is just social media now.
Yeah.
I think everyone believes what they see on social media, but a lot of it probably isn't true. But I think anyone that has anything remotely good going for them in their business wise, like especially if it's like an interesting business model or something they enjoy doing, I think it's a lot easier to just scale that rather than try to do something new.
Do you guys still have any people that basically have been with you since day one and still do it, still make good money, or is it really like a high fluctuation in that?
For like our
On the
Love
course?
flipping the land flipping.
Oh, of course, yeah. We have 8 people right now doing 100K a month. We have 50. I have a group chat of it right now, which, by the way, when you guys need stuff, is where I text. There's 58 people in there right now that are doing 10K a month or more, right? And then we've had 200 people do their first deal, and these are just the people that will post or text me and tell
And then
me.
our first student that we taught, which is kind of how we got into teaching people, because we've done a bunch of JV deals with him, joint venture deals, is I don't know if you met Grayson,
Yeah,
21-year-old.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's crushing it. He's
Yeah.
done like 700,000 this year in profit so
Yeah.
far. Has a team built out. His sister's his assistant, and just absolutely crushing it. 21 years old, left Ole Miss. He was 19.
Only sins mail.
Built it from nothing like us. He spent his last $2,000 to get on a phone call with us.
It's almost so, and this is definitely a mistake on our end when we structured everything, but it's almost like it's almost bad for the business owner because it's a little bit too easy. So every good sales guy we've ever had is now doing their own thing, right? And it's hard for them to see, okay,
Because they're like, I just closed a $50K deal for you. I made 10%. I know what goes into making a deal. It's not that hard. Why am I making $5,000 when I could be making 50 working for yourself?
So
It's
every
like, I don't have a good answer for you, to be honest.
yeah, like
It is that simple. I don't have a good answer for you.
every good sales guy we've done that has done like 50 to 100 deals for our company has started their own thing and been very successful. And I'm very happy with them for it. It's just kind of something I've accepted to where it's like you
It's not like
make
we're
money
running
with
Goldman
them.
Sachs, and
Yeah.
there's 10 hours of film in our course. You can learn the entire thing. So it's hard to like, you can't really show just an employee one piece, because once they see what's going on, it's like in 10 hours of videos, you can learn the entire thing. So it's tough to keep. really good
Retention's
acquisition
always been
guys.
tough.
Yeah. Which just goes back to what we said, right? Like that's why it's technically an easy business to get started.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just the question of why people don't stay.
Yeah.
How do you guys? Who does what? What are the roles?
Between
The two of you.
so he enjoys and is a lot better at the content and stuff like that. So the Instagram reels, filming ads, like a lot of people don't realize how much goes into filming ads. Like you've probably done 200 ads this year, right? Which is
Please.
filmed, edited. Like it's a full-time job to do the content and do the ads and stuff like that. He does a lot of that. I do a lot more on the wholesale side, right? So a lot more of the land flipping, stuff like that, a little bit more into the development deals and stuff like that. And then he's more of connecting us with people, right? So it's like he's gotten 25, 30 million views this year. It's very easy for him to set up meetings with investors for us to do a development deal, right? So it kind of goes in tandem with that to where he's much better at the networking and the investor side of things and finding deals from our community and finding builders from our community and stuff like that. And then I'm more of the technical, putting the pieces together, Excel spreadsheets, stuff like that.
But typically with the land flipping stuff, it was like it's easy to split it up by like one person focuses on the sellers getting all the deals signed and locked up, then one person sells them.
Yeah.
It's typically the easiest balance with the land flipping.
Who's the bad cop? Who takes the tough calls?
He
Me.
does. He's
Yeah.
got a way when a seller's unhappy, he's got a way of them being very happy by the end of it and apologizing.
Yeah. So
for
we
even
had
having the issue.
we had a situation last year where an agent got mad. So we did a lot of novations, right? So we would, if we didn't have a builder in place, and there was a point when all the corporate builders shut down, but we were still getting good deals. So we would just get them under contract and we'd go and we'd get a survey done and we'd figure it all out. And we'd list it on the market with an agent.
And we would tell the seller what we're doing.
Yeah. And we had 27 on the MLS as assignments at one time. One of the agents got mad at another assigner. So they went on the MLS and you have to disclose that it's an assignment when you list it. So they went and found all the assignment listings and they mailed them a letter with a copy of the listing. This guy's scamming you. He's doing this. Here's a copy of the listing. He has you for less. And I basically had to call 27 sellers and explain to them why we have it at 20, but it's listed at 30. And we're not actually making 50% on
It
your.
looks bad
like,
when it's listed. Like if we have it under contract at 25 and it's listed for 39, it looks like we're ripping them off and making 17 grand. But really, we're gonna have to lower it. We're gonna have to get an offer at 32, pay out agents and closing costs, and actually do all the work and have employees that are handling all the work. So we're gonna net 3,500 when it looks we're gonna net 17. So it looks bad to the seller, which I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then he had to have those conversations. I think only one said we couldn't keep it up. out of
Yeah,
27.
yeah. So, but yeah, like the conversations like that I've had.
How did you figure that out? Who does what? Is that just something that just you guys organically?
We kind of both were doing everything in the beginning, and then we just kind of fit into our roles, just kind of who was doing what at different times. Like it made a lot more sense for me to always do the lists and stuff because I like to work at night. So from 10 p.m. till 2 a.m. I can't call sellers or buyers or anything really like that. So it's more
Normally,
pulling
actually,
lists,
for a
structuring
while,
lists.
he would pull the list late night, then I would send all the campaigns early in the morning. Because I like to work in the morning, he likes to work at night. So I would send all the campaigns, get them out in the morning. He would do all the lists and stuff at night. Was our kind of balance with it there. But it's really easy to split it up because it's kind of like two separate things that go hand in hand with like somebody deals with sellers, somebody deals with actually selling the deals with all the buyers. It's like two completely different things. That's why it's really good if people have a partner starting out or a brother or a family member or somebody they can work with. It's really good to have two people doing it. Because
The reason I asked is because, I'm just curious how that started. Because it's similar to how it was for Patrick and myself. We kind of did everything
Yep.
because that's what
Yeah,
you
we
gotta
did
do.
everything for a while, kind of.
And
in the
then
beginning.
at some point you realize, you somebody enjoys this part more than the other. And I think that at least between us, there were some things where maybe initially I thought it was gonna be not something I enjoy, like the financial side,
Yep.
the spreadsheets, and but now I actually absolutely love
Yeah.
it. So it's interesting how that.
I think it has to do too with like knowledge. You know, once you get started in something, like you spend so much time, for example, in ads, you get
Yep.
really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You dive into it, you become good at it, which makes you want to do it
Yeah.
more. Right. So almost like you quote unquote drift apart in that sense, which is good because it clears up.
You
Like
can
Yeah.
focus on
why.
separate things.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the same for us. Like I spend a lot of time. Same thing was I work late. Was at the office at 10 o'clock last night.
Yep.
He wakes up at 5. Right. Like different.
But it's better like that because you complement each other, and it's hard to have two cooks in
Yeah.
the kitchen at a lot of
Yeah.
things, which we realize. And it's like, it's good if if you can just excel at different things, but it goes together, which I think you guys have
It's also
perfected.
it's good too that we both started doing everything because we both know how to do everything, right?
basic
So even if
knowledge.
I'm a little bit better at something than he is, or he's a little bit better than I am at something, like we both know how to do everything, right? So God forbid I'm in a meeting and I need a contract sent, he knows how to send the contract and call the buyer, right? So it's good, I think, to at least have an understanding of how to do everything, which is hard to have if you have employees that understand how to do everything because they always try to go and start their own company.
Talking about new people, like when you have people that start, like what's like an attribute or something that all is successful, where you can almost tell, like like this one's going to be a good one, and you kind of like prove to be right after a while. Like what are those traits that they bring that makes them successful?
The only thing that I've seen, and it's been comparable in every single student we've had be like pretty hyper successful, is they believe in themselves. And like a perfect example of this is every time someone will hit like 50, 100K a month, I'll do like a Zoom call with them, right? And like I sit there, it's so cool that you're able to do that. I can't believe 2 months ago you were just at your job and you just quit your 9 to 5 and you did 85 grand last month. And their first question every single time is, yeah, it's been so great. It's awesome. How do I get to 200, right? Where like most people don't have that mindset to where I would tell them that, and I'd tell them, hey, you'll make 80 grand a month by the end of the year. That's crazy. That'll be the most life-changing thing ever. And the people that have been very successful, their first thing is, how do I get to 100? How do I get to 200? How do I get to 300? And they're always overly ambitious because they believe in themselves, right? And we also will have the people that'll be like, oh, well, it's just not for me, and I don't really want to. I'm not ready to step away. I think I'm just going to do Uber instead of this because I don't think this business model is for me. And it's like you just saw 100 people that are changing their life with this, and you don't think it's for you. Why? Right? And the only reason is because it's believing in yourself or it's not believing in themselves.
Yeah, and I touching on that point, it's 100% just the person's mindset in it, because a lot of people think it's the person that has $20,000 that doesn't care to spend a little bit on marketing or this or that. But the people we've seen be the most successful, we have a few people where one was a high school student, didn't have any money
Yeah.
starting out.
That's
Another person
crazy.
joined in, no LLC, spent $0 in marketing, 10K in their first month, where somebody will come in and have a bunch of money to spend on marketing, but they don't have the right mindset. They don't believe, they're scared to make offers, they're scared to make the phone calls and stuff like that. And that's why they'll never be successful. It's not because they don't have a bunch of money to spend on marketing. The right person that comes in with the right mindset will make it work. And the only thing that's differentiated somebody coming in and being successful and not has been their mindset every single time, I think.
And I think it's also just like, which again comes back to mindset and believing in yourself, because it all stems
And
into
doing
this.
it,
But
obviously.
it's just being hardworking at the end of the day, right? It's like if you did anything for 90 days from 5 a.m. to midnight, literally anything, you'd be successful at it. We could have a successful e-commerce store. We could have an Amazon FBA. We could be running Airbnbs. Like, it's like if you work for 5 a.m. to midnight for 90, 120 days straight, no one else is willing to do that. Everyone wants to scroll on Instagram, and everyone wants to smoke weed and drink and do all this stuff. And it's like if you just literally do it all day, every day, and you're consistent for a long enough period of time, anyone can do anything, right? So it's like it just comes down to the people that will just actually work hard, I think, also, which I'm sure you guys see a lot too.
Why do you think a lot of people just don't believe in themselves or in the business model?
I think they're maybe a little bit of both, but I think they're either comfortable or they just don't think it's possible. I didn't know that this was possible 3 years ago.
I think it just comes down to people not believing in themselves, and for whatever that reason may be, right? Whether they were how they were raised, not seeing it when they were younger, something like that. Is because at the end of the day, like if they don't, for lack of a better word, if they don't believe in the business model, it's arrogance. Like I could sit here and FaceTime 80 people and they'll say it's changed my life, right? So for someone to say it doesn't work, it is kind of arrogance to an extent, right? Because like there's hundreds and hundreds of people that have made money doing this, right? So like it's like saying being a real estate agent doesn't work. It's like, well, work for Ryan Serhan. What do you mean it doesn't work? You know what I mean? Like it the only thing is just people not believing in themselves to be able to do it, right? Which there are things that like we probably don't believe in ourselves enough to do, right? Like I maybe, but I don't think I could be Elon Musk and send rockets to space, and I probably could if I sat down from 5 a.m. to midnight for the next 50 years, but it's not something I'm willing to do, right? So I think it again just comes down to what people believe they're capable of themselves.
I also think that has a lot to do with like hiring and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like because I agree, like Elon Musk, obviously a smart guy, but I don't think he knows how the actual rocket really works, right?
Right.
Those are like, so I think to your point, yeah, I think anybody could learn anything if you spend enough time. And I mean, there's so many research on how many hours you have to do something to become, considered professional. And I think that's the same thing with us. Like people are always like, how do you know so much? You're like, well, there's two of us and we work 110 hours a week.
Yeah.
Like with 1 year, we have like 6 years of experience.
Right.
If you break it down to a normal 40-hour-a-week job.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. And I think to your point, I think people start, and if they don't see fast results, I think that's one of the biggest problems,
Yeah.
right? They do it for 4 weeks and they get close once or twice, or they close one deal, but it happens to be a small one,
Yeah.
and they give up, right? And I think that's to your point, like Sirhan or whatever. If you look at those careers back in
Yeah.
the beginning, like they were doing rentals and sometimes not close a deal for months or two, but I think the consistency, the discipline, and the belief.
That's all this is. And like we say it all the time, and I've said this before on a podcast even, is like we do coaching calls like Mondays and Wednesdays, and I'll get on the coaching call and then I'll take a phone call and they'll hear the phone call. And how do you do that? How are you so good at cold calling? I don't understand. I'm not as good as you. And I'll say, well, I've been doing it for 2 days and I haven't made a deal yet. And I'm like, between him and I, we've done 100 a day for the last almost 4 years. It's like we've made 50, 100,000 cold calls. You made 11. Obviously, I'm better at you. I wasn't born good at cold calling. It's just when you do something so consistently, like it's just human nature. Like you're gonna get better at it no matter what it is.
And I think going back on the belief thing, you guys were like, because that's the biggest part is they don't believe in themselves. I think the reason why they don't believe in themselves is touching on the point of what he's saying of doing the wrong things in your life, smoking weed,
Yeah.
drinking every day, not learning about business, hanging out with the wrong friends, doing all the wrong things, paired with the fact of him asking is discipline or preparation.
Yeah.
Preparation is the confidence, right? Preparation is the confidence, but you're doing all those actions. That's why you don't believe in yourself. We believe in ourselves because for the past 3 years, most of what we did was work, learn about real estate, learn about land deals, make cold calls, send the texts out, have these conversations, deal with contracts, and do all these things. And it's like, now I know I believe in myself that I could start a wholesale house business tomorrow and get that to 6 figures a month. I could start any other business in real estate and get that to 50, 100K a month. But I know that because of the preparation of doing all the right things and doing things that are positive that are helping me learn over the past 3 years rather than focusing on all the wrong things. So that's why I believe in myself. And I think that's why other people don't believe in themselves.
Yeah.
Would you agree if I say, at least I'm speaking for us now, we always believed in ourselves,
Yeah.
but I mean, we changed countries you guys know the story. The point I'm trying to make is, I feel like the biggest change in confidence and even drive when things started to really take off and we started to see successes every time we overcame something that we thought might maybe not be doable, but we put in the work, believed in ourselves, and did it anyways. When that worked, and you look back at like, okay, I just got this done.
Right.
Maybe I didn't really think I was able to do it, but we put in the work, we got it done. Now it's almost like you put a little, I don't know how to say that.
gives
You
you like a boost, like,
put a
I-
little
yeah.
hero cape on. You're like, okay, good, all right. So I got this done, and then I can't really tell you how many, but there was a certain point I remember, and that's my mindset, not
Yeah.
our mindset. There's nothing we can't get done.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you get to a point where like so many people said you can't do it, and you keep doing it. You stack up successes. Now you're continuing to put in the work. The drive is actually even more because you break through almost like a wall,
Yeah.
and now you're like, okay, there's literally nothing and nobody that can stop us.
Yep.
And we said this last week, we could pack up, go to Montana, do the same thing again, just like you guys. So would you agree with me that there are certain things and situations and deals you look back where you had these moments? And can you tell us one example of a deal or a situation where looking back now you said those were one of those moments where like, there's
Yeah,
nothing we
I
can't
think
do.
I think it's going to be, for me at least, the first development deal that we got into. So we've done very well in wholesaling, made good money, and I had this deal, and I got it for $1 million under contract, and it was probably worth 1.5 to 1.7, and I started floating it around. And Marco Island's a very small island, like very, significantly smaller than Scottsdale, like very, very small. So I called every developer. None of the developers I called were in the market to buy right now, right? So I'm just calling everybody over there. I'm calling the agents. Every agent I talk to, this is a good deal. This is a good deal. Called the seller. Hey, here's the situation. I am not ready to close, and I do like this deal. I want to keep floating it around. I got some more people I want to call. Escrow, like the closing date was coming up,
Yeah.
and our contract technically releases a gray area. And I had like a 2-hour talk with this guy, like we were friends. He was like, you know what? Keep doing your thing. If if I find someone else to buy it, just send me a release from the contract so I can move forward with someone else. It's like, cool, we're good. About a week later, we were actually sitting in Old Town eating lunch, and they sent it to my parents' house because they couldn't find us. The like head attorney at one of the Naples law firms sends us a $1 million lawsuit. Basically, like, you have 10 days to close on this lot, or we're suing you for $1 million. And we didn't even cross our mind to develop it. And at that point, I checked Zillow, and I was like, let me just see what's going on here. And the lot to the north, like identical canal, but just one lot to the north, just had closed for 3.4, and it was 2,100 square feet, and it was a 2021 build. So I called the developer, and I said, how much did it cost you to build this house? He said 1.2. So I'm like, okay, we get the lot for $1 million, we build for 1.2. How long does it take? He said 10 months from permitting. Cool. So at that point, I looked at all the new builds in the neighborhood, made a spreadsheet, price per square foot, whatever, underwrote it 100 times, and I'm like, this doesn't miss, right? And the next day, I called every single agent that's done a waterfront sale since 21. Is this a good deal? I'm going to build with our builder down there. Is this a good deal? I'm building with them. Are they a good builder? Is this a good deal? And everyone's like, yes, 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 yes. So we went ahead, raised the money, factored in interest, cost, everything like that, closed on it within 7 days. Right. And at that point, again, like, we never had, like, I've known I wanted to do it, but we never had even considered doing a project of that size. The next week, one of those agents that I called said, hey, I have this listing right now. It's the nicest lot in Marco. It's listed. It was at 4.9. They just dropped it to 3.9. They'd take way less. I offered 2.6. They took 2.9. Right. So in a week of never even thinking we're going to develop, we're flipping $10,000 Lehigh lots. We now have a $7 million house and a $16 million house that we picked up over a 10-day span at 22 and 19, right? Or 22 and 20, just because it was at that, we almost got like pushed off the cliff to where it's like, you have to take on this deal or you're getting sued. And then that pushed us into our next big
How
development
did you
deal.
raise the money for that?
That was friends and family.
Friends and family.
Friends and family.
Okay.
So people that we've known for a long time that have kind of seen what we're doing, and we knew that it's going against lines of credit.
Yeah.
So then we pay their interest plus
Yeah.
2 points, and then we'll 50-50 profit share.
I think it's interesting, you know, the way you explained it, how technically you did all the basic things.
Yeah.
And it really, again, should show everybody, like, everybody can do this, right?
Yeah.
Like, didn't have any knowledge, but you said, all right, what do we have to figure out?
Yeah.
You know, call the builders, call the agents.
Comps,
Like,
cost to build,
do
interest.
your homework, right? Like, that's really all it is, right?
And that's
Like,
what-
it's
I think
great.
anyone can do anything, right? Because
And also, nobody's going to make a $2.6 million offer on a property that was listed at $5 million.
like,
Do you feel like a lot of people these days are just lazy?
yeah, no, that's all it is. And then what happens is they don't have confidence because they subconsciously have no confidence because they don't do what they say they're going to do, right? And this is another thing that I do with most of our students is I literally tell them, take a piece of paper, split it in half, write good and bad, write down everything good that you do that will help your life, and write out everything bad that will not help your life, right? You know, sit there and I'll do it with them. Drinking alcohol, smoking weed. And you want to make money right now, watching football games on Sunday is never going to make you money, right? I get it's a luxury though, right? Watching football, scrolling on TikTok, watching Netflix, having a dirty room, right? And I could go on forever, procrastinating. And then you go on the other side though, and you say, what helps me? Okay, exercise, going for a walk outside, calling my parents, right? Like working on the business, doing this, right? And there's just good and bad. And if you just do the good all day, you'll be successful in anything. And no one that does good habits all day long is not confident. It's only the people that do bad things that are unconfident.
Or like you said, of doing what you say you're going to do. If you say, hey, we're going to get up and go to the gym at 8:30
Yeah.
tomorrow, and then he gets up and goes to the gym at 8:30 tomorrow, and I don't, I'm going to feel less confident. I'm going to feel like a piece of shit for the rest of the day because I didn't do what I said I'm going to do. And subconsciously in my head, he might not say anything about it, but I'm not going to even believe in myself because I said we are going to do something and
Yeah.
we didn't. So
And
I think changing that mindset will help you a ton.
A lot of people almost overshoot and it messes them up so bad. And I tell them all the time not to. I'm like, if you can't quit cold turkey scrolling on TikTok, just say I'm going to use it for 30 minutes a day. right? Because if you use it 15 minutes then tomorrow, if you say you're going to quit, now you're going to be upset with yourself. Versus if you give yourself 30 minutes, you're like, okay, I'm getting better, right? And it's like subconsciously, you're just training yourself to believe in yourself. So every time you go against what you say you're going to do, you're subconsciously telling yourself that.
Like a good
You're not
example is like when you really don't want to go to the gym. And you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in the car. I'm gonna go for 15 minutes. I'm gonna do a couple sets and then I'll get out of there. Then you get in there, do a couple sets. You're getting a pump. You're feeling good. And you're like, I'm gonna be in here for an hour. Let's go. Then you leave and you had a better workout than you've had all week when you didn't even want to show up there. And you're never more upset with yourself that you did more of a good thing once it's done.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah,
And
it's
I-
almost like some people feel like they don't deserve, they're like, don't think they have what it takes because they miss these little.
And it's probably easier to not do it.
Yeah, and I think there's one thing from the golf world that I remember when they asked Tiger why he's like working out so crazy. He was the first one to go into the gym, and it was like it's not a power sport. He's like it's not. It's when I come on a golf course, I feel like I'm gonna win because I know I worked harder than anybody
Right.
else. It's not that I can lift more, bench press more, but he just felt like he deserved to win
Yeah.
because he was working hard and better prepared than anybody else, right? Which my question to this, and it's like a double question, like what's your demographic of students and people that like sign up with you guys? What's the age group mostly?
It's pretty interesting. So what we realized is about like posting on social media is a lot of the people that will follow you, listen to you, watch your videos, join programs, is they're like basically your identical demographic, right? So it's going to be a lot of college kids that want to be like Carson, and then it's a lot of I look older than I am, a lot of like 35-year-old men with beards. Like that's probably like 75% of our demographic.
Yeah, I think that like the following range of it, because it'll like the people that follow or a lot of people that buy the stuff is like anywhere from like 20 to like 40.
Yeah.
Mostly men.
And
We
then it's
actually
like
have a lot
90
of girls that join the program
Yeah.
as well, but mostly men like 20 to 40 follow us and like listen to
Would you say there's a specific demographic that's more successful than others?
No, it's crazy. Some will still have 9 to 5 and they're crushing it. Some of them will be. We had
Like I said,
a
high school kid.
17-year-old in his high school math class closed a 185 and 150K deal in the same week.
Had to send it to his mom's bank account because he couldn't have one yet.
Multifamily in Texas.
Everybody in his math class, all of his friends started seeing the wires and they all started working for him out of his math class.
But yeah, like everyone, all the successes came from all different fields of things. Like there are people that honestly speak very broken English that do very well. There are people that are fluent, used to be accountants that are in there doing really well, right? So, and everyone has different strategies too, which is pretty crazy. Is like him and I were just spray and pay, spray and pray, pen and paper. Like we were so unorganized
Just
for
mass
our first
market as hard as
150 deals.
possible.
And I know other people that came from a tech startup background and they start and they make SOPs and they hire a couple VAs and they put everyone in positions before they send a campaign, which I don't recommend. But then they also are very successful, right? So it's like so many people have different strategies and routes to be successful in it. And the commonality with all of them is they just take action, right? It's like it's just the people that just actually do it.
Two things, because Patrick and I talk about it a lot, and for me it's very important personally. What are your like non-negotiables? What are your habits? Touch on the like top 3 ones. Very curious to hear.
These are more recent, and I'm very happy to have the luxury of doing it. Is I will never work with someone I don't want to work with, right? Even if that's leaving a ton of money on the table, not doing a deal I've always dreamed, anything like that. Like if I don't like or trust a person, I will not work with somebody I don't want to work with. Another thing, big one for us has always just been like fitness. I think being in good health and stuff, we're gonna thank ourselves longer in the future for it. And I think working out every day is very good for anybody, no matter if it's a walk or lifting or playing golf or tennis or anything like that. I think exercise is very important. And the last is always him and I always put each other first, right? So I think it's the biggest blessing in the world. Like there's no one else I'd rather partner with on a deal or anything like that. Like I know no matter what, Carson's always going to be there. He's never going to do anything to screw me over. And started everything together, we'll finish it together, right? So that's basically the 3 things. So anything we ever do, if Carson does it, I'm involved. If I do it, Carson's involved. Never work with anyone I don't want to work with, and exercise will always be some part of everything.
Yeah, then I guess just 3 simple ones is like, again, like you said, working out every single day. No matter what, we pretty much work out every single day. And then working every single day, whatever that is, whether it's filming a YouTube video or making cold calls or getting a contract signed, we work every single day. And then just having a good relationship with family in addition to like him and doing good business as well. Like we've always done good business. You can talk to any builder, anybody that's ever worked with us can never say a bad thing that we screwed them over or anything, which I think is more like a bigger accomplishment than anything we've ever done. Any deal that we've ever done, however many deals we've done, however much money we've made, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you're going to be a bad person, you're never going to get to where you want to get to in the long run. And we've always realized, and it's like, hey, if we have to leave 10K on the table here or give a builder a 5K discount for no reason, whatever it is, when the market gets tough, then he wants to do deals with us. Then he'll raise his price. Then this person will work with us in the future. And it's always helped us out no matter what. And just giving more than we take with every single person we've ever worked with, and 9 times out of 10 it's not going to work for you, but the 1 time out of 10 it does work back for you. It works 10 times over, and it's way worth those other 9 times when you pay the bill or you have somebody stay with you without asking for anything in return, and doing just all the little things to where everybody's going to respect you at the end of the day. And hey, you might lose a little bit of money monetarily in the short run, or you might have somebody staying with you, or whatever it is, you might lose some money on a deal, but for us, we've always done that and always tried to practice good business, and it's always helped us out in the long run, which has been a
Sounds
huge
very
moral value
familiar.
for us.
Yeah.
Very familiar.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Well, I think that I don't work out every day, but I think that working out is
Yeah.
big. I speak with my family first thing in the morning always. I pray every day. I journal every day. So, and there's a few other things I do, but those are like the big ones. And there's not a single day, even when we're maybe like off or out of town, like I'm always thinking of
Right.
business. It's just,
I see it on your story every day. There's,
Yeah.
there's 10 of them in the gym and 50 of them working every
I
day.
just can't. That's just who I am.
Right.
So yeah, and I think that what you guys said, and that's why it resonates so much. We treat people good. We do good business.
Right.
And that's why we built the reputation, the business that we have, just like you guys.
Yeah.
And that's maybe also why we connect so well, because this is very, very aligned on pretty much every single.
Yeah, that's why it's like a red
Single
flag when
level.
like somebody doesn't have a lot of friends or connections and they're successful, and it's like
Yeah.
that's probably a red flag. Like we have no problem making friends
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we always try to do the right thing by everybody, and same for you guys, and same for people that do good business and are out there in the world. It's like if anybody doesn't have friends, that's probably a red flag.
Yeah. And another big thing that like I kind of noticed too is people doing bad business, and we've done business with a lot of bad business partners, gotten screwed over a couple times, stuff like that. But every one of those people would just they'll go up, and they're probably pretty smart, and because they're not like the most genuine people, they are gonna make money somehow, but they always plateau. They always plateau, and I've always noticed that is we'd be working together. Okay, they screw someone over, they plateau, and Carson and I just always same thing with you guys. Like you're always just going up, and I feel like they always get to that plateau where it's like, okay, at this point, you need to work together with somebody. You need people around you. You need to get into horse racing or restaurants.
To make a connection,
you know what I
to get
mean?
into
And
an
it's like,
investment, and you can't when you're doing bad by people. You're just stuck by yourself, trying to. Hey, maybe you make an extra $10,000 that month or an extra $50,000 that month, but then you're never gonna have a connection with somebody
Yeah.
that could help you in the long run. You guys are probably gonna make millions of dollars together and have
and that's
great memories.
probably the biggest thing with you guys with the luxury real estate is the connections.
What do you think, Patrick?
Yeah, it's like you said, it's the same thing. Like it's on the business level, on the personal level. Like you have to do the right things to create the right circles, right? There's also, I think there will always be 2 circles, right? To like the question you had earlier, like that every 3 to 5 years, you I think there's a work friend circle that you align on the work part. I have great friends that fit in the other category, right? They make $3 grand a month and they love it, right? They're like, as long as I can pay my beer on Friday night, and I have the best conversations with them. I can sit with them 6 hours and talk about life, right? And then there's other people I can sit 5 hours and we talk about the newest watch and newest car. To me, those are 2 separate, equally important friendship groups, right? Because otherwise, I think you get lost pretty quick. To your point, it turns all into just a flex, or the other part turns into like you just get lulled into it, and you don't experience.
I think a big thing that we always kind of knew, and I think a lot of people mess this up when they start trying to make money or stuff like that, is everyone has to figure out first why, right? Like some people, and everyone's is different, right? But it's like some people, when they want to make money, for us, like we didn't really care about luxury items and stuff like that. Like sure, I had a screenshot on my phone, and when we hit a big deal, we got a Lambo and a Ferrari and whatever, but it was never about that. We always literally just wanted freedom. We wanted freedom. We wanted to travel the world. If we wanted to take 2 weeks off and not open our computer, we could do that. And we just want to do it in our 20s, right? We never had the goal of having 200 employees and making 20 mil a month, right? Like we understood that like it's not gonna, the difference in our life will be marginal, right? And maybe we'll get there by just chasing our goals and doing development and real estate and stuff like that. But if we don't, it doesn't make a difference in our life, right? But some people want the freedom. Some people don't care if they live in Bali and they make $500 a week, but they can sit on the beach all day. Some people want to just have a family and they don't care about anything, right? And it's just, some people do want 70 supercars, right? God bless them. Right, but it's like kind of deciding what you want and then structuring your actions towards that. And I think a lot of people just start to do it and they just don't really know what they're doing. But once you figure out kind of what you want, you can start to tailor your habits and your work schedule to getting towards that.
Yeah. And so we have a question that we
Yep.
usually end with. We got to rephrase that because usually we say, if you would sit down with your 18-year-old self, but
Yep.
that was
Yeah,
a
well,
couple of weeks ago.
10-year-old.
So
Let me go back a couple weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say what we said last week. No, but you guys are so young, so we're gonna turn it around. So I'm obviously the grandpa here in the group. So like, do it the other way around. So when you're like 35, like what would your life? What is your perfect scenario, and what would you like? You know, if you could sit down with your 35-year-old self, like what would you tell him? Like what he did right, wrong. Like what are the good things you want to accomplish, and you know, like what are the goals and things.
I think, like, real estate wise, we've always had the idea of wanting to build a hotel or wanting to build something big like that and have a spot that you could go and hang out at and have a nightclub in it and have a casino in it or something like that and have a bunch of restaurants, have a really cool hotel. It's like real estate wise, something big like that, whether it's a huge apartment building, huge hotel, something like that. And honestly, just helping a lot of people and still having a good relationship with our family and being healthy. But helping as many people as possible. Where we've seen lately, it's like, helping people in our community is the most fulfilling thing ever. Having a 1 hour Zoom call like he did with Cade the other day, and he came in there and told me like that was one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life was talk to Cade and see how his life has changed. And having those conversations means more than the money could ever mean. So being able to have more of those conversations, which just comes by helping more people, which he was telling me this the other day. He's like, I want to figure out something that we can just give for free to people so that we can help as many people as possible. And then in the long run, you build a big community of people that actually trust and believe in you, and you can actually help out people in the long run. And it's hard to figure out the value that you can bring to people at the moment, but it's just like the long story short is just like trying to help as many people as possible, which we haven't really fully figured out how to do that yet. As of now, it's a little niche of land flipping that we're helping people learn about. But in the long run, something that we could help a lot of people, as I think 13 years from now, it'd be pretty cool to look back and say, I changed 10,000 people's lives. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think when I'm 35, I want to make sure that I, again, don't really waste my 20s, right? So like, sounds crazy to say, but like less concerned with even like building a hotel or something. I would rather literally just be very, very comfortable, make sure I'm investing every month, very smart with the money, but still travel literally every single month, right? Just travel the world, spend time with him. Cause it's like, there's one day we're going to be 80 years old, right? And I'm not going to be happy that I have an extra zero on my phone on a money account that's not real, right? I'm going to be happy I went to Europe for 6 months with Carson, right? Like, so I understand when I'm 80, that's what I'm going to be thankful for and happy for. And at the end of the day, if we work every day and we're smart with our money, it's never really going to be an issue. So I want to always just make sure we're improving every day, right? And I don't know, there's no tangible thing right now where it's like, I want to build a 90-story apartment building. I want to do this and I want to do that. There's nothing really tangible right now. It's just kind of, we got some good things going between our company and then our program and stuff like that. And I just want to make sure that continues to improve every day. We still kind of keep the vision open to where, like, right now we do have bandwidth. If a software idea or a big development came about, like, we have bandwidth to work on something bigger. But if that doesn't happen, it's just like just making sure everything continues to improve every day. And then at some point, I would like a family. So I think that's probably the one thing that's like we haven't necessarily done yet is have kids and stuff like that. So that's something that I would probably want by 35. But other than that, just making sure to have a good relationship with my family and making sure that I don't regret the next.
Yeah, and
10 years.
I completely agree with everything that he said. Where I was coming from with it is kind of like to my older self. Like 80, 90 is like the only thing that you can really give to the earth is your kids or giving knowledge to a bunch of people. So if a bunch of people learned amazing things that we could help benefit their life, and then we had something that you could see that was like we built that or we did something, which is why it's cool to build the houses like you guys do. You can go see everything you build.
It'll be there
I
for
think that's
100
really
years.
cool that if we're sitting on our deathbed and we're like, wow, we built that, we built all these things, and we taught all these people to do things in the world. I can die knowing that we're not going to die today, right? Which I think is cool, but you can also get that by having a bunch of kids yourself and trying to give them the same knowledge that you had and that kind of thing. But yeah.
I can tell you from my being a dad, right?
Yeah.
I think what you describe, like travel the world, spend
Yeah.
time together, all that stuff. In your 30s, that's what you're gonna do with your kids. That's
Yeah.
like basically the next evolution,
Yeah.
right? Like that's just what happens. Like you do it with your family, and then you create your own family,
Yep.
and then like that's the stuff that's really irreplaceable. And in your case, even better, it's gonna all be together, right?
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
big Brady bunch on a road trip somewhere. All right, I think we got it all covered for today. I think that we could do a season
Yeah.
3 revisit of this podcast. So much more to talk about. Super interesting. Thanks for being on the show, guys. And
Absolutely.
I'll let Max do the.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, guys.
That was
We
good.
appreciate you coming out. I think we got a few more things in store
Yeah.
that we want to do together. So yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in, for watching. As always, thanks for the Wiener Brothers, and then please don't forget. That's normally not my part, but please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.